Welcome to the tutorial for 4-6 Rebel Attack. We've marked this level with a difficulty rating of 5 and an RNG rating of 4. This is a very technical ship level, but it can also be extremely consistent with practice. Goal times for this level are less important than with others, but don't neglect practicing this level, as mistakes here can lead to major time losses. It is important to note that the X-Wing can hold only 3 torpedoes, while the Y-Wing can hold 5. This will influence how we 1P2C the targets throughout the level. Let's begin. During the opening cutscene, call in player 2 so that you will have both players in for the beginning of the level. In any ship level, you can call in a keyboard player during any cutscene. However, this will not work if you try calling in a controller player. There are 2 different strats for this first dispenser, so we will start with the beginner strat. Move to the dispenser and grab a torpedo with each ship. Then, move to the right and fire both when the target has risen to the top. Then, move back to the dispenser and flip twice to gain 3 torpedoes on each ship before proceeding forward. The more advanced strat involves timing your movement and torpedoes so that you can destroy the torpedo target immediately. At the start of the room, line player 1 up with player 2 and move towards the right side of the dispenser. As soon as you reach the middle of the dispenser, curve right and then down right. Now pay attention to the target and fire with both players as soon as it reaches the top. If you time the movement correctly, both players should be over the top of the dispenser as you fire. Then, circle to the left again and flip twice over the dispenser to gain 3 torpedoes on each. With the immediate destruction of the target, you will be then able to proceed forward after grabbing the torpedoes. Hold attack as you make your way to the next set of targets to shoot any incoming TIEs. Stray TIE fighters can cause your shots to blank, so be sure to kill them as you pass by. Attempt to shoot the 2 satellites here, which will then lock the hatch and prevent future TIEs from spawning in. It is important to not sacrifice your line here, so if you are not able to destroy both, just keep moving forward. As you approach this set of 4 targets, focus on moving to the back right target with player 1, while player 2 stops here. Note that the Y-Wing has almost no drift when holding no directional inputs, while the X-Wing drifts significantly due to its higher idle velocity. Because of this, you want to stop moving with the X-Wing earlier than with the Y-Wing. In general, torpedoes will hit their targets earlier if you fire while being directly over them, so slow down your ships accordingly. Then move left and fire your next set of torpedoes. Make sure you wait for the targeting icons to appear, or else this can occur. As soon as you press the fire button, immediately go back to the torpedo dispenser and do a flip like so to get 3 torpedoes on each ship. Since the Y-Wing can hold 5 torpedoes instead of 3, stop moving after the flip with that player to gain extra torpedoes while player 1 moves towards the gate. The transition to the next room is angled as you can see it here, so line up your ship on the left side of the door as you are waiting for the laser shields to fall. Make sure you are far enough away to not blow yourself up and then proceed into the next room. The explosive radius can be represented by this box. If you do blow up, enter the room with player 2 while player 1 quickly picks back up the torpedoes. Note that if you are unable to pick up the torpedoes quickly, it is better to simply enter the next room and grab them later. In the next room, take a good line around this corner and grab an extra torpedo with player 2 if needed to get 5, and enough to get 3 on player 1 if you blanked earlier. While doing this, focus on taking a direct line with player 1 to the center of the first 2 targets here. Be sure to be holding attack with both players and destroy both TIE fighters here before proceeding. These 2 TIEs are the biggest cause of blanks for this set of targets, so be sure to kill them. Shoot the left target with player 2 and the right target with player 1. After these two targets, you have a couple options. The beginner method is to simply move forward, wait for both targeting icons to appear, and then proceed after the torpedoes hit. The advanced method involves moving to the left much earlier, which can risk a blank if you do not play it correctly. After you shoot the first two targets, move with P2 to the right, then move to the left with P1 and shoot this turret on your way, and fire when the targeting icon appears above this top right target. Then, continue left with both ships, pan down, and fire with P1 while the rightmost target is about to go off screen. Be sure to continue to shoot any ships in your path here to avoid blanks. As you continue up, release directional inputs on player 1 for a brief moment to let the camera adjust and stop pulling your players. You can blank with either strat if you hit a tie or shoot at the wrong time, so pay attention to the audio and listen for the torpedoes to hit the targets. You can also look at these red lines on the floor to confirm that you hit all the targets. Collect the power-up that will be in this left satellite with P1. Continue forward, and when you reach this bottom right target, immediately turn right to the dispenser over here. Destroy the bottom two targets, and grab a torpedo and turn back around. Pan the camera down to target Scynor, and fire on the final two targets. Grab one more torpedo and drop out. Then wait for the laser shields to fall and proceed into the next room. Once again, this transition is also angled, so be sure to enter from the right side here. This next room contains the only real trick in this level. In this room, there's a slight gap in the collision in the walls right before the transition to reload the previous room. You can go through this gap to get out of bounds and skip this entire room. There are two different setups, so let's start with the beginner setup. Entering this room, move to the left wall and hold D-pad down when you hit the wall. Release the D-pad before you hit this corner and it will move you to the right. Let your ship drift until you reach this red light on the ground. Then, just hold D-pad right to line up perfectly with the gap in the wall. Move slightly upright when you get out of bounds, and follow this line. Note that if you move too far up, you will clip in bounds, and too far down you will fall and die out of bounds. The advanced strat is to do a 360 cancel. A 360 cancel occurs when you press the jump button to initiate a 360, and then you cancel the flip by immediately pressing the opposite directional input of the way you are facing. In this case, all you need to do is press jump as soon as the wipe begins, and then press and hold down on the D-pad before the wipe ends. Your directional input will not do anything until the wipe ends, so as long as you press and hold it during the wipe, you will get a 360 cancel. Continue to hold down until you reach this box, at which point you can swap to holding D-pad right. Once again, turn upright as you are entering the gap in the wall, and then proceed normally. In this room, all you need to do is just hold D-pad up for the duration of the room. Don't move side to side or call in another player here, or you will start to take damage and you can die. You will notice that your player will pick up a torpedo here at the start of the room. On rare occasions, a torpedo can blank at the very end of the level, which is why we grab an extra one before entering room 3. Call in your second player during the short mid-tro cutscene before this room. separate your players, and move to the inside of these turrets. Begin a flip backwards when the front turrets reach the top, and shoot the inside turrets. Then, turn to the outside and shoot the remaining turrets, continuing your turn until you can start shooting the top turrets. Then, wait for the shield to flash a few times, then fire your torpedo. If you miss a turret on the side, shoot it with the player that has momentum in that direction after shooting the top turrets. After the exhaust port has been destroyed, the level will end. This concludes the Rebel Attack tutorial.